Right, The Blind Man, Part 3. John 10:18 to 25. The religious leaders still did not believe that a man had been born blind and had received his sight, so they sent for the man's parents. "Is this your son?" they asked. "Is this the one you say was born blind? How is it that now he can see?" "We know he's our son," the parents answered, "but we know he was born blind. How he can see now, or who opened his eyes, we don't know. Ask him, he's of age. He will speak for himself." His parents said this because they were afraid of the religious leaders, who had already decided that anyone who acknowledged that Jesus was the Messiah would be put out of the synagogue. Which is why his parents said, "Well, he is of age, ask him." And a second time they summoned the man who had been born blind. "All right, come here. Give glory to God by telling the truth," they said. "We know this man's a sinner." And he replied, "Well, whether he's a sinner or not, I don't know. One thing I do know, I was blind, but now I can see." Here we go again. The religious leaders were trying to manipulate the situation by putting pressure on the man's parents, and then upon the man himself again, to confess that Jesus is a sinner. How utterly bizarre. They had already issued a decree effectively banning anyone from speaking about Jesus as the Messiah. And now they were going another step further, trying to persuade people that Jesus wasn't just not the Messiah, but that he was actually an active sinner. Very weird. They were becoming obsessed with trying to control a situation that was already getting out of hand, but they were frightened of losing all their authority. That's why. They didn't want to lose the little control that they had over all these people. They wanted to manipulate them to keep all the rules because they thought that would help them get to God, but it was blocking the way to God. It was so self-defeating. The great irony, of course, is that they were all sinners themselves. And they had to accept it. Do you remember when Jesus confronted them with the woman caught in adultery? "He who is without sin cast the first stone," and they had to walk away because they knew they were sinners themselves. And yet here they were trying to prove someone who was without sin was a sinner. Because he was upsetting their religious status quo. So now they're really starting to freak out. This carries on tomorrow or the next episode, depending on whether you're watching it all in one go.